Be house sitting for my aunt while she's in Europe for my cousin's art gallery or some shit. Aunt lives in a sort of bad part of town in a beautiful motherfucking Victorian built in the 1860s. Bring AR with me to house it for a week because what the fuck would be the point if I wasn't armed? Fading in and out of sleep on the couch one night. Hear the window and basement shatter. Insta awake. Insta on feet. AR in hands, flashlight on. Go into the basement slowly. Tactically slicing pie with light on strobe. Nothing in basement. Look for broken window or glass or something. Nothing. Suddenly the screams of 1,000 burning humans fill my ears as if it was 3 inches away from my head. I'm talking banshee status. I freaked the motherfucker out, ND'd into the staircase and ran upstairs, out of the house and stood on the sidewalk for a good hour. Eventually growled balls and grabbed phone from kitchen and call aunt. Is this place haunted? Oh yeah, never go into the basement if you hear glass break. My face went. Turns out the guy that built the house tortured his wife or something down there and beat her and neglected her till she died of starvation or some shit. So, let me first describe how I spent the last 3 summers. Live in Ohio. Be a camp counselor at Inner Woods Camp in Hocking Hills region of southern Ohio. Clear Creek Valley is one of the most biodiverse areas in the entire world. Not kidding, more than some rainforests. Nearest civilization is the town of Rockbridge, tiny, many miles away. Everyone lives in cabins with no air conditioning, power or light. I'm assigned to the older boys, because I'm better with the bushcraft. Teach them about betoning, fire building, debris huts, edible plants, the works. One night every week, we camp out, use the skills and sleep under the stars. Every week, each cabin has to do a camp improvement project, chores. Little kids pull weeds on what few unpaved, barely maintained paths we have. Big kids, 14 to 17, use saws, rakes and shovels to clear out new campsites or refurbish old ones. There's always been a rivalry between the older boys and girls, especially among the counselors. That's the camp. It's a nice place. I'm there for 6 weeks every summer, but the kids only stay for 1 week sessions. After 3 years of romping through the forests there, I know the place like the back of my hand. There's still some places I haven't been, but they are few and far between. As a side note, every counsellor has a camp name, so campers can't find us on Facebook and stuff. I'm Hawkeye. My friends in the story are Turkey, certified EMT, and my co-counsellor. Magenta, old friend, engineering student. Khaleesi, business student. Magenta and Khaleesi are counsellors for the old girls. Turkey and I are counsellors for the old boys. Be last week of camp. Everyone happy to be going home. What camp improvement projects don't get done have to be done by the counsellors after camp is done, but before they can leave. Fuck that. Turkey, Magenta, Khaleesi and I all agree to have our kids do all the hard chores so we don't have to do them alone. We clean up a campsite on the side of a hill called Black Feather. The girls clean up a site called Human Nature. They're bragging because it has been used in around 20 years. The camp is 90 plus years old, and we will finally get up and going again. I'm a bit jealous because I've never been to that site. The only clue where it is a dotted line on a 30-year-old hand-drawn map indicating a shitty trail. Magenta says she knows where it is. I think she's bluffing. But she's a smart girl. I figure if anyone can find it, it'd be her. Next day, head to Black Feather, find box tortoise and explain tortoise versus turtle. A tree has fallen right in the campsite. Go gadget saw. 15 teenage boys attacked the fallen tree, around 1 foot in diameter, with hacksaws. That bitch didn't know what hit it. Show them how to split wood. Black Feather will have firewood for many years. Return to camp. Now it's time for select overnight spots. Magenta has a smug grin on her face, looks me in the eye and says, "We're going to Human Nature. What do you think about that?" "I've never been there. Where is it?" "It's in the valley, a new part of the forest. We found where the firing was, but the rocks are all strewn about." "That's weird." "Nah." Walks away. Turkey comes up to me and says he let a younger cabin take Black Feather. It's not too far a hike for them. Where are we staying? Tatonka. I was very excited because there's a very cool clearing right by Tatonka, perfect for astronomy. It's right on top of a hill, so it's a tough hike, but that makes the food taste so much better. Next day, overnight day, 15 boys and 2 counsellors. We made hamburgers on a grate that we carried up. 7 pounds of meat to divide. We ate like kings. Campfire jacks for dessert. Basically tinfoil wrapped tortillas with chocolate marshmallow inside. Uh-oh. The person who packed the food gave us no tortillas. I'm fine with going without, but some of the guys were looking forward to them. Don't worry guys, I'll just pop over to another campsite to see if they have extras. Quietly to Turkey. Where are the other campsites? I heard the girls from downhill all evening, but I don't know where they are. I don't know, man. His first year counselling, by the way. But Magenta said human nature is in the valley. Did you see that raggedy ass trail leading downhill when we were all headed up? Like 20 meters past the last cabin? I did see it. I didn't make it. They didn't look like it had been used recently. You sure that's right? Yeah, man. That's where the trail is on the map. It is around the right area, but the map even has written on it, not to scale, some sites may be overgrown. Alright man, that's about right. I go down the trail, around 9:30 PM so it's dark. I got a whistle, my Mora companion, blade bathed in white ash so it works on demons, and headlamp. Get to trailhead. It's a bit dark, but not so much that it's oppressive. I head into the trail. About 5 meters in, it suddenly turns from undergrowth to grass underfoot. This is odd. All of the undergrowth is getting thinner too, but the path is still very defined for being something 20 years old. Suddenly no undergrowth, just trees. Eerie almost brightness. Don't even need my headlamp. It's a new moon, so this is fucking weird. The section of forest I'm in looks very new. Thin trees, low ground cover, no bushes or mid-level plants. The feeling I get in it though, feels old. Like walking inside a tomb old. I keep walking, more to distract myself from how weird the section of forest is. I realise that I don't hear the girls anymore. They're normally very loud, being teenage girls. I stop. Everything in the world stops around me. Not even the insects are chirping. I see fog slowly filling into the valley. It's now bright in there, despite being a new moon. This place is not good. I'm actually getting goosebumps describing it. A stream runs down the centre of the valley, shallow, but still a stream. I don't know why, because every fibre of my being says otherwise, but I continued on the path, crossing the stream. Once I crossed, a wave of the most powerful feeling hit me, one I can't even articulate to people. Best way I can describe it is like feeling with every ounce of your body that something is the most despicable evil that's ever existed. This place was bigger than me, bigger than the forest. I should not be there. I was more scared than anything. Since there was nothing to fight, I ran further down the path. I don't know why the fuck I did it. Every step carried me further into it, but I couldn't stop. It felt like I had run at least a mile or two, but it's probably no more than a few hundred meters. I am not afraid of admitting that I was almost in tears at this point. It's so much easier when there's something to focus your fear on, but when there's nothing, it just takes over. Suddenly, offside of increasingly dispersing path, glow of campfire, the sound of girls talking in low voices, stumbled towards the campsite. Magenta's voice, much shakier than normal. Hello? Who's there? I tried to be as calm as possible to avoid spooking the campers, though I realised they're probably already unsettled as it is. Hey, Magenta, it's Hawkeye. I'm coming through the bush. Oh, good. What do you need? I'd totally forgotten why I was there. It's just popping by. Cool, she says, then gestures me to come over to her, away from the campers. Hawkeye, what the fuck are you doing? Was that you? Where did you come from? Why are you here? I was getting something. Wait, what was me? What do you mean, where did I come from? You took that path, right? She looked me in the eye, and for a second, I see the same look that must have been on my face minutes earlier, when I realised what I was feeling. She shook her head just slightly, and I feel the colour drain from my face. This was a bad idea, Hawkeye. What are you going to do? She told me it felt much safer at the campsite with the fire going. She certainly wasn't going to lead them through the forest in the dark. Khaleesi was also new, and didn't know how to get anywhere, so it was up to Magenta. She said she'd stay up all night and tend the fire, keep the flames hot and large. I look at her in the eye and ask her if she'd be okay. She said yes, but didn't sound convinced. I remembered why I was there and grabbed some extra tortillas, because damn it, I'm not going home empty-handed. Magenta showed me the path they took, old but completely different from my ingress route. I make it back on the other path. I feel it as I leave the campsite, but it fades as I walk away. Make it to a big, well-maintained path. Holy crap, this is the same one the other path let out on. Walk back to camp, past where it should have been. What? It's not there. It's like the path closed up. Some of the thickest forest I've ever encountered where that damn path should have been. I know where it was because there was a large boulder opposite it. Anyways, make it back to Tatonka where my boys have been waiting for me. Turkey yells at me as I walk up. Hey Hawkeye, where have you been? Did you walk all the way back to the kitchen? I realise it's like an hour and a half later. Yeah. The girls didn't have any. Come up, let the older boys take over teaching the younger ones how to make campfire jacks. Pull Turkey aside. The girls had tortillas. What? Don't ever go to human nature. There's something else in that forest. What do you mean? I have him look at me in the eye. He sees that I'm not joking. Turkey, it's not a good area of the forest. Never go there. Okay, man. I won't. We go to bed, but I can't sleep in my hammock. I keep having dreams about the forest. The next day, wake up, have campers rekindle fire since it burned down. Pancakes on griddle we hauled up, clean up site, pack, head back to camp, get equipment put away, send campers with turkey to get showers and stuff. Magenta pulls me aside outside the dining hall, but away from campers. She has bags under her eyes, obviously from lack of sleep. Hawkeye, did you sleep last night? Not well. I keep having dreams. About the forest? Yeah. Hawkeye, if I tell you something, do you promise you'll believe me? You felt it. You know what it was like. Sure, Magenta. Go ahead. Every girl either talked in their sleep last night, or woke up crying at some point in the night. We didn't eat breakfast. We just got out of there. Every girl? Every damn girl. I swear to you, I heard them. I didn't sleep a second. I was tending the fire. I don't know what would have happened if it had gone out. Okay, Magenta. It's okay. I believe you. That's about it. Go home 4 days later. Don't know what the hell it was, but that's it. Sorry for the long post time. I'll compile it into one big image then post it next time. On the master map, which is a hand-painted, contour lines and everything map on a wooden board, which all of the other maps are based upon, there's a red smudge between the path to human nature and the last cabin. Right where my path would be, I shit you not. I think someone had a double meaning when they named the campsite human nature. Wherever I think of human nature as a concept, I think of war, conflict, hatred and violence. The first person to find the campsite gets to name it, but nobody I asked who founded human nature. It's just always been there. I'll never go back. Camp is a wonderful place that has a special meaning to me, but human nature is something else entirely. Be me, live in Eastern Europe, around the age of 14 or 15, playing on a road in a forest around 7 PM with friends. I think that was autumn, well, nevertheless it was already dark. The road through the forest led from the corner of my small town to some even smaller village. It was empty most of the time. Suddenly I see someone dressed in a white hood, sort of like monks from the Middle Ages. Did that someone appear to be glowing or not? I don't remember, sorry. But he was dressed in white, so I had no problems with seeing him. He crosses the road, goes near the lonely streetlight in the direction of a place with hardly any trees or whatever that could be blocking the view, and disappears, just like that. I ask friends if they saw it as well. They say yes. We go to the house of one of us, not talking about it. Get goosebumps every time I pass the streetlight. Thankfully I don't go that road too often nowadays. Happened this year around April or May, 19 years old now. Tried to fall asleep around, I'm pretty sure around 4 AM. I'm not 100% positive, but I remember being surprised that it didn't happen on 3 AM, which is the famous ghost hour. Hear the door handle from another room to the hall. so I thought one of my parents was going to the bathroom. Also, a white light appeared in the hall, so I thought that my parents was using their phone on the way. I know that was hardly possible, but fuck, it was 4 a.m, I was sleepy. A few minutes later, I realised that there was in fact no one there. The light continued to stay there for, I think, 5 or more minutes. Forgot about it until a few nights later the same thing happened. Not only the light, but the handle-like noises as well. Next morning, I asked Mum if there was any source of light that could appear in the hallway. After consulting it with Dad, she said there is only the smoke detector, but our model can only emanate red light. A few days later, it happens for the third time, but I'm too much of a pussy to go to the hallway and check it. Decided to do it next time, but there was no next time. Whether it simply didn't appear or it just disappeared when I was sleeping. Hard chance that I cannot say. Also, my mum took my story very seriously, even though she's usually a skeptic when it comes to ghosts and shit like that, because she's very religious, and a few months ago I was religious as well. Now I still believe in God, but not sure about being a Christian. Be me, used to live in Florida. Had this guy near me who used to live in a farmhouse. This farmhouse was at the back of a field near me. I will just call him A. I lived in a wooded area next to a creek. This creek ran past both houses. Area was rural as fuck. Nearest store was like 10 miles from us. Barely anyone around. Nowhere to even go or anything to do without driving for miles. This guy A had been best friends with my roommate for a long while. They ended up having a falling out when they were younger though. Here's where it gets worse. A's sister had been missing for many years now. Both his parents had already passed. There were some pretty strange rumours about him. There was talk in the local community that A had actually killed his sister. Bear in mind, this area probably has around 50 to 100 people tops. And it seemed like near everyone here thought this to be the case, which was fucking odd to say the least. Okay, so my roommate and his sister lived nearby and I ended up talking to her about it one time. She told me like 3 different stories of events. I'm not sure if these were what she heard from various people, maybe different perspectives or what. Either way, she made it to a point to let me know that A was a good person and that the killing was probably an accident if he actually did do it. She would say this while giving me a blow-by-blow of a story where he does kill her. Like, what? I honestly didn't understand her angle. I didn't understand why people in the area didn't do something if they were convinced he was a killer. This one evening she gets a little tipsy and is just yapping up a storm. I was tired and just wanted to leave and get home before it got dark. To get anywhere near my house I had to go through her yard, which was bordered by these huge woods. Then I had to go down this little enclosed passage with trees and shit blocking anything above me. Basically nothing could see you when you walked down this passage, but I couldn't get away because she just kept talking. She got weirder too. She started talking about A killing his sister again, and she started asking me questions about it. It seemed almost like she was quizzing me and trying to get my opinion on what I thought of him. I think I made an offhand comment saying I thought he was weird and seemed a little fucked up. This was basically entirely based on my roommate because I barely even knew the guy. She kinda clammed up at this point, so I took it as my exit cue. So I'm heading down this enclosed path, and after about a minute of walking I heard something behind me suddenly. It sounded like a branch snapping or something. I turned around very quickly only to see a tall shadowy figure on the path behind me. And before I can even ask what the fuck is going on, I hear a voice call out to me, telling me not to worry. It was A's voice. What the fuck? Alarm bells were instantly ringing in my head. The way my roommate's sister was just talking about him, quizzing me, climbing up when I said I thought he was evil. There's no way this wasn't some kind of setup. He must have either been listening or been told. I was now shivering and wondering whether to just book it or play it cool. I wondered what would have happened if I didn't hear that branch snap. Would this psycho would have just snuck up on me? I decided to turn back around and just keep walking like nothing was up. I knew he'd catch me if I ran. My door was locked, my roommate was asleep, and I wasn't exactly the most athletic. He'd either outrun me completely, I would trip, or he'd catch me while I tried to unlock my door. But I heard the steps behind me get faster and closer and I knew I'd be ready to fight. But A just started walking beside me. Started talking about how today would be his sister's birthday. Nervous.jpg. I just responded back with a half-hearted, oh, to sort of feign interest. In reality, I wish people would stop fucking talking about this shit. But he just kept on talking. I tried to look forward and keep walking, but he just kept talking. Started telling me how his sister just ran away from home one day and never came back. Sounded like he was trying to convince himself as well as me. I think he was considering whether to fucking kill me or not, probably based on my reactions. He finally got out of the path, but A made no sign of leaving. Instead of opening the door with my keys, I banged on the door for my roommate to wake up. If he came to the door and looked stunned when he saw A, if I'm honest, he probably looked a little scared too. I went inside and they ended up talking for a while outside. He didn't tell me what was said when he finally came back in. I tried my best to get some sleep last night, but I just couldn't. I was paranoid that A was going to try and sneak up on me and do who knows what. I mean, what the fuck was he doing creeping out there anyway? What was all that shit about? Hours passed and it must have been about 6 AM when I was finally drifting off to sleep. But I was jolted back away by the sound of cop cars. There were a couple of them and they were whizzing past my roommate's sister's house. This is a rural area and a rural community. Even one cop car up here is strange. More than one? Basically unheard of. By the end of the day there was a lot of talk. Why were the police here? They had found A's sister's body, or what was left of it rather. I'd imagine just skeletal remains at this point, but I've no idea how you even figure out who they are at that point. But yeah, it was about half a mile away and buried under some branches and leaves and dirt. It was buried under an old cemetery in the woods. Not long after they found the remains, the police were looking for A. He was woken up to cops with guns trained on him. My roommate's sister was actually there in bed with him, which explains why she was acting like such a fucking Fruit Loop when she was talking about him. According to her, someone had reported the location of the sister's body. Don't know who, or how, or why, but for some reason he either knew about this or had suspicions. That's why he was trailing me that night. He thought it was me since I was a bit of an outsider to the area. That's why I was being quizzed, to see what I knew. I was being set up to be killed by A. I have no idea why he's changed his mind on killing me. I have no idea why the stupid fucker went back to his house only to be arrested. I guess he knew the jig was up. I wish I knew who actually turned him in. Who could actually know about something like this and keep it quiet for so long? Cause of death was apparently multiple gunshot wounds to the face. Basically the opposite of how my roommate's sister described it being. Hi X, I've been lurking and commenting and bumping for some time, but I've never shared anything. My experiences aren't that interesting, but I do want to get off of my chest. I grew up in a haunted house. We moved there just after I was born. Weird shit happening was just the norm, which is why I probably like it, so... Be me, 5 to 7 years old, have my own room. My room was the middle room in the hallway. My parents' room was at the end, my brother's room next to mine on the other end. I slept with my door open. My parents' door was always halfway open. My brother, being older, closed his, jerking off and all that. At night you would hear footsteps on the carpeted hallway, faint, but with there being no other sound in the house, clear. Footsteps would begin in front of the parents' room, walk past by my room, stop at my brother's door. Then there would be silence, cold, dead, absolute silence, for a few minutes before starting all over again. It never walked back, just started at one side, stopped on the other, silence, started back on the other side. Everyone in the house had heard this. It was so normal that we'd comment on it the next morning. Oh, he was walking again last night. He didn't just walk the hallway. He came into rooms, which as a child is the most terrifying fucking thing ever. Footsteps would enter the room would feel electric, hair would stand up, temperature would drop sharply and you would be paralysed. It would stand there, and you would hear it standing. I don't know how to describe it. It didn't breathe or talk or anything, but you could hear it. My bed was against the wall and I slept with my back to the door. My logic was, I don't want to see it. I know it's there, I feel it, I hear it, but I don't want to see it. Eventually this wore me down mentally. I didn't want to hear it anymore. So I started pressing on my ears. I'd place one hand under my pillow, and the other one over the blanket I had over my face. I pressed so hard that my teeth would become malformed in my jaw on the right side, still is today. I feared night time. I would cry when I had to go to bed. I made excuses, went to the toilet a million times, anything but be in a dark room being forced to sleep. I wasn't the only one who was visited, however. It sat on my brother's bed too many times to recall. It dented in the mattress, sat for a few minutes, got up and left. It lifted my brother's bed up while he was on it. It held my mother down in on her bed one night. Apart from walking around and fucking with us, it just made noise. So much noise. Cupboards open and closing in the kitchen. Cups and plates moving on the kitchen counters. Doors opening, doorknobs moving. The usual. Be me, 12 to 14 years old. Got used to it. Used to make fun of it by now. Friend come over for a sleepover. His dad came and dropped him off. His dad and my dad are standing outside talking. Mother is washing dishes and talking to me and friend in the kitchen. Mother laughs and says house is haunted. Friend laughs, thinks it's a joke. Mother laughs and says nope. Suddenly the dishwashing liquid bottle flies off the kitchen counter. No one is near it. Friend turns white, nopes the fuck out of the house without saying a word. Tries to tell his dad, but he isn't making sense. Ended up just crashing at his place because he refused to come into the house again. Older sister came to visit, slept in my room, woke up and saw the shadow of a man sitting next to me on the bed looking at her all night. Older brother came to visit. Mum told him house is haunted. He says he didn't believe in stupid shit. He went to take a bath and the tap opened itself. Needless to say, he slept with the light on throughout his entire visit. Everyone who visited us could write their own green text on that house. The hauntings came in waves. It would be quiet for months and then all hell would break loose. I started having vivid dreams about it. In my dreams, it looked like my father, but with dead, cold eyes. My dad was still alive, so it wasn't him. In my dreams, I would look down the dark hallway from the living room and see my dad's face come out of the darkness, or peer around corners with his expressionless face. What I didn't know at the time was that my father was cheating on my mother. He was verbally abusive, but never in front of us. He treated my mother like shit and they didn't love each other. Perhaps I just picked up on the vibes and was projecting it onto my dreams. Seeing my dad's doppelganger watch me from the darkness still makes me feel extremely uncomfortable. Be me, high school student, listening to boring history discussion, feeling the urge to ditch class, excuse myself to the professor cause I need to take some rest at the infirmary. Professor agrees, probably too tired to care. Go downstairs, 4th floor. Feeling an urge to pee, I walk into the corridor leading to the restroom. Our corridor is huge, it's high as probably 3 times my size. Went into one of the 3 cubicles and took a piss. Feels good.jpg. I suddenly start to hear a murmur. Can't understand due to shitty accent, but I think it was spectare suprate. Felt chill go down my spine, now observing my surroundings. I hesitantly check the other cubicles. No one is inside. No one is in the restroom except me. Murmur now returns to what seemed like a chant. Spectare suprate, spectare suprate, spectare suprate. Checked behind me, nothing was there. Can't make out where that fucking noise is coming from. Nope the fuck out. About to return to classroom, pale as fuck. Professor sees me as he exits the room. Asks me what was going on. I tell him I kept hearing something, but I can't find the source of the noise in the restroom. He stopped for a second, then asks me what the noise I heard was. Spectare suprate. Become pale. Suddenly walks out to meet the principal. I asked him what was wrong. He wouldn't tell me. The following day, the school invited a priest to bless the school, focused on the bathroom I took a piss in. The principal talked to me, told me to forget what happened and not to tell anyone about it. Now I graduated high school, returned to my alma mater. I noticed that the restroom was renovated and turned into a faculty staff room. Remembered that day. Went and checked my old history professor, douchebag who wouldn't tell me anything that day. I asked him what the fuck happened back then. Professor told me to talk about this outside the room because it seemed the principal told everyone to keep their mouths shut about this. but it was my right to know. There was actually a story that a girl was raped in the men's bathroom stalls decades ago. The culprits were never captured. The girl committed suicide days later in the same restroom by hanging herself. The school tried to forget the incident that took place. Then I remembered what made my professor shudder all of a sudden. What about the noise I kept hearing that day? You mean spectale superate? Yeah. You really want to know? I nodded. It's Latin for look above you. My face went,